So, I'm going to talk to you today about community engagement. It's called pushing the marketing funnels. So what I try to achieve is to bridge chat services, bridge worlds, bridge communities. And in this case, I'm going to talk how the technical world and the marketing business world can collaborate. My name is Floris van Geel. I'm from Eindhoven in the south of the Netherlands. I have a company there called 040 Lab. That is due to the reason that at the time when I registered, everything on Drupal NL was sorted alphabetically as well as on Drupal.org. Happy we got the credit system in order to have a certain... So I'm called with a 0, then you're always at the top in an alphabetical listing. And I'm still one of the few people that is also an IRC. And for the rest on Twitter, and so you can find me under the company name since I'm too lazy to maintain my personal Twitter profile. There's one slide that double-clicked. There we are. So I call myself a Drupal entrepreneur. I use Drupal as a verb, thus not violating any trademarks, because we all Drupal, don't we? And about 60% of my time I use to fix business problems and issues and make great websites and solutions for clients. And 40% of my time, that is happy time. That is coming to these kinds of events and developing products and working together with other people to make even better products. At the bottom you find the link to the slides. It will be at the end as well. So if you want to photograph one slide, either this one or the last one. And they're synchronized. Just the recent changes that I made 1 minute ago are already through Git on the service online. So you can always find the most recent ones there. Right. So we're going to talk about a problem that we have as a community, an initiative that helps to solve this problem, some little short introduction to marketing, simple 101, after how to automate this marketing, further down the road how to integrate that with CRM, and we end with a closure. So the problem is, each and every year that I go to a DrupalCon, for example in Europe, we sit there in a room and we talk on how we can grow the community and how to make the Drupal into a bigger success. And if I look around, I will see about the same people, and that year everybody got 1 year older. So we need to change here something. We need to be able to have more expansion in the amount of people that join up in our community, as well as work on keeping people in our community as happy as possible so they don't leave. Because in general, it's not really that PHP is dead, like Preston almost suggested, because that's not the case. Since 10 years ago, it was the comparison that they said, okay, you have PHP and you have Java, and now you have PHP and you have modern JavaScript frameworks. The thing which is consistent is the PHP in this story. So I don't believe that. It's just a matter of organization, encouragement, and doing what the Drupal community is so good at, being the Drupal community. What? Okay. So in Nashville, I was there. It was my first US DrupalCon, and who doesn't know this guy here? Nobody doesn't know him, of course. We all know Dries. And there he talks with his Dries notes about initiatives and about the great future that we are going for with Drupal. One of these initiatives is really, really important, and it should have been there 10 years ago. It is the so-called Marketing Drupal initiative. So all these companies put together. At this time that I got the stats, it was last year. So by this time, they already surpassed the $100,000 marks, thus having the ability to have official guidance, to have an official person that is paid in order to do this the Moving Promote Drupal initiative. So if you're technical, non-technical, marketeer, doesn't matter. If you want to help out, there is already a great success to this story. There is already like a standardized slide deck that everybody can download and take, translate to their own local language, and use in order to get clients for themselves, as well as clients or engagement of people to belong to the community. It's made out of 3 phases. The first phase was to update and make consistent Drupal's brand and to connect with new decision makers and new customers and influencers. The second phase was to provide sales and marketing materials that everyone can use and translate. So this pitch deck that is already there. And that was about covered with the total money. But PR campaigns are on the road. But more important one that I find is that next to a digital outing, we also have a consistent Drupal marketing box that you can bring to a client and say, look, we have this and all this materials and flyers and leaflets and maybe gadgets or whatever in order to support localized and industry-related event marketing. So, if you go to this webpage, Promote Drupal Initiative, you Google it, you will also find an issue queue. Since about, I think it's about a year, we also can make projects that don't have code in the repository, that do collect materials and issues and give attribution credits to one another. And this is really important because then we have everything centralized at Drupal.org and everybody can access it and everybody can join up to contribute. With the money as well, Rebecca got her director of marketing and communications. I spoke with her in Nashville. She's a really, really great girl, really, really smart and engaged in order to help to push this project forward. And if you have any questions, you feel free to contact her, me, or Paul Johnson, who made the slide deck. The credits are to him, together with the rest of his team, because he didn't do it alone, of course. And then I would like to appoint another initiative, which is related to marketing Drupal, is a new one, which is not yet official. That is the Drupal Camp Organizers Initiative. I'm the only one that is not living in the US that joined so far. And I hope that by telling this, maybe one of you, or maybe a person you know, would also join up. I already got contact with one of the proposals for Drupal Developer Days next year from India. He was interested to share his and their experiences and also collaborate on making the organization of Drupal events who are bigger than a local meetup more accessible and more ease of use for everybody that wants to do it. So not that after a big Drupal Europe it takes about 8 months, more, about a year until there is the next Drupal camp in Germany. Great that it happened, but you want to have more preparation and more tools like modules that you can use in order to organize events and make these less time burden. So how can you get involved? There is, at this stage, it is, normally you have this norming, storming, performing phase. There is a few technical ideas and requirements. However, the group itself is not, doesn't have yet a clear scope in what they are actually going to do. So there is an organizer Slack yet another Slack, which is called eventorganizers.slack.org. Come, you pay for it. There is one Zoom meeting, and there is an email newsletter for who wants to be informed, and most important, there is its own issue queue. So, now we get to the marketing. And I hope that my clicker now works. Yeah, that's good. Marketing is just about communication. It has actually nothing to do with sales itself, that process. It's mainly saying what you do and doing what you say. For example, I'm Floris and I like to cook in the evening when I'm at home. Oh, no. Okay. So. And it goes through a funnel. So, for example, I have a slipper shop. I sell these great slippers online. And you will visit me through Google. And when you are in the Google, you are unknown. When you hit my website to buy my slippers, you are a visitor. Then you look at the slippers and think, well, I like the one with the flowers. And that makes you into a prospect. Or the prospect leads to be a lead. And then, after that, you see the opportunity to buy one. You think, I've got some nice pocket money. You buy the slippers and you become a customer. If we compare this process with how it goes with Drupal.org, I will switch them a little bit faster. We see that only the last 4 boxes, they change. So people don't know about Drupal. They get to Drupal.org. After that, they download the software. They use it. They put some modules. They either get happy with it or they never look at it anymore. Then the point of sales here, the incentive, that is to become a user. That somebody registers at Drupal.org and thus is able to contribute within our system. Then maybe a person goes to a meetup or goes to a Drupal camp, Transylvania, and gets involved by this great culture and community spirit that we have. And in the end, people contribute. That's our funnel. That's what we want to achieve. That's how we want to gain more momentum. So, in this process of this slipper, if you look at the numbers, it's every time you make a little step in the funnel, it gets divided by 10. So let's say 10,000 people know about it, are aware, visit the site. 1/10 will be interested, 100 will decide to actually do something, and 10 will act now and buy the consumer. With reputation and products and all these kind of things, these funnels are the same. It's only that the little labels, they change in namespace, but the process is totally comparable. So what can we do? We want to tweak it. We want to be able to, with tools, because that's what we're good at, deploying, building, making tools, combining tools. We want to engage people to become Drupal.org users and contribute. So what if I run this slipper shop on Drupal Commerce, and I go to the Drupal.org project commerce module page, where I found the source. I could go in the corner where I have a question that this hook doesn't work for me. It gives me all kinds of errors. I could just, without logging in as anonymous engagement, I could just start typing. And somebody who is involved within commerce and has some time to answer my question will answer the question. What we see here is already possible. It's done by means of the Rocket Chat live chat. I will explain more about Rocket Chat later. And a website. When this happens, and the person is ready with the chat, they can choose to leave their email address or their name or not. And you'll end up with a nice JSON format that can easily be consumed by any CRM system or any marketing automation system. The only thing we had to do is make a Drupal.org module for RocketChat. So if you go to drupal.org/project RocketChat, you'll find a stable 8 release, a stable 7 release. Those are maintained. Those include the live chat button, a bubble that you just said, as well as, only in the Drupal 8, not in 7, the whole RocketChat API is covered to be accessible in PHP for Drupal 8. Except for one thing, which is the live chat. Sorry, the WebSockets chat stuff. That is just been done by implementing some JavaScript that will talk to the RocketChat. We're not going to do that. We're not going to build WebSockets in PHP because that won't make anybody happy. The client and the customer and the visitor, it will bring the speed of the website down, and it already works through progressive web enhancement with this little JavaScript injection. So, to tell you a little bit more about RocketChat. It is quite a new chat system on the market. It's fully free and open source. It's made up with Brazilian passion. And it's built on Meteor. Meteor is a JavaScript-like language for programming. It runs on MongoDB because MongoDB is really, really good in processing and querying and blurting out huge amounts of data in text format. We serve it off with Nginx due to the only thing that Nginx is doing is being a proxy to RocketChat and relaying all the messages whenever you connect through the web client. And of course it needs SSL and encryption in order to be safe. If you want to play with it, there is a very extended documentation as well as an Ansible and Docker deployment roles and playbooks. And for us, we abstracted and took the Ansible and we run this in LXC, LXD containers to keep the whole system even more flat and lean and don't have overhead for all the virtualization software that people want in general run or do. Okay. Now we get to another major factor, that is authentication and identification, to give people access to certain information. What we had to do with the RocketChat module in order for it to be able to authenticate against the Drupal site is have a pull request to RocketChat so that the Auth2 server module and OpenID Connect that are made for Drupal Commerce and are still one of the most better secure ways of delegating access, which we have in Drupal. So this Auth2 protocol that is quite well established, it's used by Google and Facebook. That one is the one that handles access. For example, if you in the back trust Google and I say, okay, I trust Google as well, and you log in via Google, I will only see a token or an email address to know that you are linked to this user that has access via that URL to all these pages. I don't know exactly who you are. If you want to share information with me, OpenID Connect comes into play. It's a fork or no, an evolution from the old OpenID protocol, which was really about access and spreading out and having peer-to-peer access. This one changed its scope in order to have specific information available that is shared between the actual person or the web service and the web server. So within that, you can decide what information you want to have from the authentication provider to be used in your web system. If the user has consent to share that, of course, because we have this GDPR there as well. So with this combination, what you can do is you can make like a gatekeeper with a Drupal's website, OAuth2 server module, and a slightly modified version of Nginx, which is called OpenResty. You can give access to an endpoint on the web of whom you're not sure if it's secure, or that is, at least the access is secured. So we got one and we're now refactoring the stuff behind the endpoint, but I'm sure that the clients of my clients don't directly know how to hack it. Which brings us to the next chapter in this story, that is marketing automation. And to define that, what is marketing automation? I have found a quote. Marketing automation helps you save time by handling marketing and sales tasks on predefined schedules and by gathering critical and useful information into a certain location to help sales teams focus on the right potential customers and leads at the right time. So, what did I just say? What are sales and marketing people actually doing? In fact, the most what they're doing is writing and reading emails, filling Excel spreadsheets, as well as adding this information into a CRM or a SAP or an otherwise really big and bloated system in order to know, I need to call these people, I need to follow up that lead now, else that client will go away and won't be a customer of us. Mautic, there's a new word, is also, it's the only free and open source solution for doing marketing automation. So it's made by a great guy, he's called DB Hurley, and I personally invited him to come to Drupal Europe and thus be able to collaborate and talk together with one of the founders of RocketChat, he also came, and also with Dries. And we just recently seen that now Acquia has gotten collaboration, bought Mautic, which in my opinion is a very good thing, since both the open source worlds can join up and work together. Mautic is written in PHP as well, and it's also based upon a framework that is like Symfony, but a little bit different. However, you will notice that you as a developer or the developers in your company won't have that much difficulties in adapting and combining things. It is capable of making marketing campaigns, doing drip flow programs, which sounds like buzzword bingo, but I will show you a little image that will clarify that immediately. It can help to facilitate and create landing pages, because that is what it's mostly about. That if you are at a certain page, you will have a call to action, you will leave an email, you will click a button. All that has to be registered. And all that information has to be automatically added to your person within the CRM and marketing automation. And of course, integrate with social media, because these days you have so many channels with so much information. In order to keep track of all this, there is one essential component needed, that is monitoring. So, watching and tracking the visitors on the website and who come anonymously or from elsewhere or from the social media, and slowly getting to identify the leads. So after a person gets to be known, you can deliberately ask them and talk with them. Combining these three things back again to Drupal.org. What if the person in the corner who's doing the filming, of her, I assume that she doesn't have a Drupal.org account. if she would come to the camp and register, and we would be able to log in via OAuth2 at Drupal.org, us as organization would automatically know that she doesn't have a Drupal.org account. If she later wants to upload the images within the project, we could help her in order to create an account in order to upload the images. Very practical example. So, what actually is happening within, for example, Mautic is contacts are shuffled out like cards on a board. And then, it's almost Avalon, they get little points appointed when the lead makes progress in when the lead makes the process to become a customer. So then what happens? It is about these drip campaigns that most companies, when you allow and share your email, they will send you emails and they keep on coming. Most people don't look at them, or they are interested and they open them. So if I get an email, usually when I get an email, I see delete. Why should I read it? It comes in again. Oh, okay. I look at it or I click on it, and then I don't want to get the same kind of information again. We want the system to be smart and know where you are, if you're already engaged, how much documentation did you see, how much papers did you read, and so on, in order to give specific information that I want to read in my inbox or in my communication. And you even want to abstract it that the visitor may choose whatever channel they want to use for their communication. That's a great thing that is now, since it's, the Rocket Chat went from the 0.x versions to 1.0 and further, there is the opportunity to do multi-channel communication. So I could connect one Rocket Chat to multiple Slacks and to a WhatsApp telephone number, and an email address. So in the end, I have all my chat in one place. Because personally, I get really, really crazy about all the different communication channels that we have currently available, and would love to see it all in one place. Further down the road in Mautic, there is many types of services that can be integrated. You see here a lot of icons: Twitter, Facebook, MailChimp. Almost all the big lead aggregation or chat or communication software are in this hall of. Okay, Mautic you can find at mautic.org. The source code is on GitHub, and recently acquired by Acquia. For us as Drupal people, it's great because there is a Drupal 8 module that you can just download and connect your website with Mautic. It's made by 1X Internet, a very good company in Germany. And so that one is covered. Now go to CRM. If I think too long about how and what a CRM can be done with open source or with Drupal, I might lose my hair. We have a lot. We have a CrmCore, AgileCRM, Erpal, all kinds of very specific niche-made systems, mostly in Drupal 7. And all these tools are either very basic, and they do one thing really, really well, so they are a component to build a system with, or they are overcomplicated. So at the time that I first made this slide, there were only 2 open source on the market solutions that it could take. It could be either CiviCRM, that is used by the Drupal Association, which is Drupal 7 with a separate database for the CRM. And it works, but it's not like the most accessible, modern, fancy, handy, convenient software one could find. Or alternatively, SuiteCRM, which is a fork of SugarCRM, because SugarCRM used to be one of the best CRMs open source, but it got sold and changed its license model. Happy we're GPL 3 in Drupal. Okay, so that wasn't really a good solution. So in Drupal Camp Pannonia, we got together with the guys from Erpal, and we were brainstorming and thinking, and how can we cope with this? How can we solve this contact problem? Since you have well, at least I have a central point where a central connection and chat location. How can I create, or can we create a central contact container? So we invented Amoeba CRM. An amoeba is a little animal, it's fluffy, and it's really good at consuming other little animals. And the idea is to have an API first, if you want headless, CRM application. Currently, it's a rough diamond. It consists of an entity for the contact and an entity for the company, and they have the same fields as a Mautic, and they can be related. And there is an API, and we get to the point where we say what it's working. It can import from Excel. That is really important, since I told you before that most of the people who are in sales and marketing, they love Excel and have everything in Excel. It can import from Salesforce, because that is something where specifically SMB, small, medium business companies, they think, okay, this Salesforce is working for me, but it's expensive, or it's not yet working for me. So that's a good way to be able to consume that. It can import from SuiteCRM, since before I was advising everybody to use SuiteCRM. And it just got fixed by Iwana. Very, very good news. It can synchronize with Mautic. So if a client is gotten from social media or from whatever integration in Mautic, it's automatically synchronized to Amoeba CRM. Yay. What does it look like? Currently, yes, it is a rough diamond. We have, you have the content planner module in Drupal 8. And the content planner module is a great concept. However, it was built on the node entity. That's not so convenient. So what the Code Ninjas did, when we said we want to use this, because we like to drag and drop stuff around and say, okay, this person got upgraded to an engaged person and so on, they sent a patch to this content planner module, and the patches, they got rolled, and finally we can do content planning on any entity. That's what we want. Still, there's little details like the contact. I would put a name, but we can easily fix that with label and updating and some sprints. So now we have a nice triage. At least I would go for this one at this point. Drupal, WordPress, Joomla, whatever CMS, it can be offline marketing and so on. If it has a Mautic plugin, can work with the Mautic. Drupal, being there, can work with Amoeba, because Amoeba is Drupal through the REST API. Any self-respecting CMS, even WordPress, Joomla, and so on, know how to talk over JSON and REST. Perfect. So I'm making the picture a little bit bigger. Yeah. In the middle, we have all kinds of open source solutions, either in the pocket phone or maybe in the thermostat, I don't know. In real time, the communication goes through Rocket Chat. So the next step that we want to achieve is to have triggers and actions from the chat with buttons to the CRM, and maybe also to the marketing automation. And the link to the marketing automation and the CRM was since about 40 minutes there. Well, perfect. There's a little thingy hidden in between. That is the Matomo. That's the thing that used to be Piwik, and that's for taking, with open source software, your own statistics. So marketeers, I come back to the marketing again. They have to report on their progress. And for me as tech, business, or other people who are sincerely tech, we have to try something. We have to try to talk with them, see what their needs are, find the KPIs and improve. Make reporting intuitive, pretty, accessible. And not just like what I did before, 1.5, 2 years ago. I thought, oh yeah, I will deploy you a nice Google Analytics and bye-bye. We'll see what happens. So, in order to make this better, it's great to talk with each other and to learn from ideas and grow and build and build and build and so on. And thus leading to our option is to grasp social and organizational processes and make tools and systems for it to thrive and to be better. So what's next? In August, it was really, really good in last year, just by the end of the year. Drupal Camp Pannonia will be in Serbia. You have it on 2 and 3 August. And it's really, really pretty. The venue is next to the lake. Very beautiful. Good food, great people. I would advise to go. And now we come to the recently added slide. In 2 weeks, that's on the 29th of June, there is a great event in the Netherlands. It's gotten to grow like heaps in the last few years. Last year we had over 420 people attending. It is in Utrecht, which is a great city in the center of the Netherlands. And I just got the challenge to have 2 spare tickets to give away to the first person that raises their hand. 1. It includes free drugs. Another? No, that was a joke about the drugs. Anyway, you have it? 1, 2. Perfect. Sold. That's in Utrecht. And since this year, there is one big change that I was pushing and trying to change for the last 5 years. Half of the sessions are in English, and no longer that everything is in Dutch. So it got more accessible and more inclusive. I'm really, really happy about that one. Another one, which is not to be forgotten, is use the both rooms on the both sides. Find out which initiatives are running, join up with the sprints, and hope to see you there as well tomorrow until 13:30, because at 13:30 we are trying something new. We are doing a workshop on how to make customers into happy, how to make leads into happy customers. So we use certain subsets of at least 3. We use the Mautic, we use the Amoeba CRM, and we use the Rocket Chat in order for you to play with it, to give us feedback, maybe get engaged and start hacking and programming and building. That is tomorrow at 13:30. Another thing that I need to mention is, I really love hacking and building. On Friday, there is the Climate Hackathon. And that's also a really interesting concept that we have here, mostly technical, maybe some non-technical people coming together and with software mind thinking about how to improve the climate. Wow, that's an amazing idea. I'm definitely going to join and find some people to make a team. And I would encourage you to also do that and come there. So, now we come to the list of links and questions. I don't need to name the links, but maybe somebody has a question.